Now with McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another bonus episode on Auto Call MAFS. I am your host, Tane, and my guest today is the lovely Aid. Hi, Aid. How are you?
I am all right. How are you?
I'm great. Can't you tell? Okay, so today we are discussing a documentary on Netflix called The Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. Um, Aid, what is your general summary thought about this documentary?
So, of course, this is batshit is the only way to respond to the full documentary. But I did enjoy that I did not know the big reveal in the middle.
Yeah.
I watched it, I didn't know. And then I watched it again when I did know, and that's even crazier. What about you?
So I knew. I saw it on the news, but I didn't know that this was the documentary. But then when I started seeing it and people saying, "Oh, the big reveal," why are we saying the big reveal like we're not going to spoil it? But but the big reveal, and I was like, "Wait, is that the one that was on the news the whole time?" So it kind of spoiled it a little bit. Like, I think my jaw would have been on the floor. But because I did second guess myself, I knew, but I was just like, surely they're not going to make this person just interview regularly like a normal person. So maybe I am mistaken. But it's still pretty shocking.
It's shocking. I think also the way they present it. I mean, a lot of people are really mad at the fact that the perpetrator got to be in the documentary. And I actually do want to hear from them.
No,
I,
I'm not mad at that. Why would they be mad at that?
they're like, it's platforming an abuser. It's like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, Tell Them You Love Me, which we also
Oh,
covered, I think, as
yes.
a bonus.
Yes. Oh,
To
I
me,
think it
I'm
was
like,
regular, actually.
I need people to have some faith in themselves. I need you to be able to be presented with something and then to draw your own conclusions.
Yeah.
You don't have to take what she is saying as truth, or you can, you have the opportunity to do some critical thinking. So it's okay for her to come and say whatever it is that she wants to say.
Yeah. I would like to hear from anyone who is mad that she's on there because I would have thought it was a huge gap if she wasn't on because that would be all that's on my mind is like, why? I mean, it doesn't make a difference because I don't feel like we know why she did it. And like I said, I don't know why we're talking about this. If you have not watched the documentary, well, spoiler alert, it was the mother. So that's who we're talking about. And the summary of this documentary is that there was a girl and she was being cyber stalked, bullied, and sent horrific text messages for like almost 2 years. And come to find out that it was her mother doing it the whole time. And Aid, I think I have told you about my encounter with stalking.
Hmm.
So, this kind of struck a nerve because I'm trying to imagine at least I was an adult. This was a 14-year-old girl and guy. This is a lot.
So her mother's main target for these text messages was her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
This started when both children were 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the nature of the text messages is, I mean, vulgar seems like the wrong word. It's like they are very sexual messages. So they say things like, your to the girl, your boyfriend, this is me paraphrasing. I'm never going to quote any of these.
I have
Um,
one quote.
your boyfriend's never going to want you if you don't give him blowjobs, and I'm willing to give him blowjobs. Like, sort of, that's like the vein of them. You're ugly, you're thin, you're anorexic. Why would he want your flat ass? Like, these are the types of messages. There are multiple messages where she tells her daughter to kill herself.
Mm. It's nothing makes sense, and I don't.
Oh, it makes sense.
Do you particularly think that this was well done?
The documentary?
Yes.
No.
Okay. We're on the same page with that. I just feel like a lot more could have been done with this. But let's backtrack a little bit. The documentary does start with them putting a thing up there saying starts with all the text messages are real. Like this is not fake. And it's based in Bill City, Michigan. I don't think I've ever heard of that city before. It's a small
There's like
town.
10 people there, so why would you have heard of it?
I don't know. You never know. And the daughter's name is Lauren, and it's a small town. Her high school is Bill City High School. It is very small. They have a whole group of friends, other people that we're going to hear from: Sophie, Owen, who's the her boy ex boyfriend, and Macy. And they tell us, I think they're setting the stage for us and telling us that they have nothing better to do than talk about each other. Even the parents, that's all they do, and it's basically toxic. And everyone is addicted to their phones. When the text message starts, it's around Halloween or something, and they were getting like 40, 50 texts a day from an unknown number. And then they start getting texts about Owen, who is the boy that was 13. The text message stopped, but then 11 months after, they started again. And then they could never figure out who it was, but there were just all these little clues. Like they used to call Lauren by her nickname, Lo. I don't think they paid enough attention to that.
Well, see, there's the way the documentary presents it. And then there was an article in The Cut. I had a hell of a time trying to find one that wasn't paywalled, which is terrible. Support journalism. But but I found it and I read it, and it wasn't. It definitely took them a while to figure it out, but they were like the documentary makes it seem like they didn't figure it out until a certain point, and they're like, no, we suspected about probably, I mean, not much earlier, but maybe a month or two before, when they make it seem in the documentary.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I, I just think there were some clues in there because I think the only one note I took with one of the texts that was being sent, something that was said in the line was, "You're a sweet girl." I don't know any teenager that would say that.
I, there was People went back and forth in like, it has to be one of the kids or it has to be an adult. And I think that because there was a lot of red herrings, so at one point, the perpetrator framed another child for this, and she did a pretty good job of framing her.
Chloe.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. I mean, uh, they were called the golden couple. I mean, Owen and Lauren. And I'm trying to figure, was her mom it was her mom where do you lean? Was her mom jealous of Lauren, or was her mom infatuated with Owen?
Oh, both. She was infatuated with Owen. I think in her mind, this is like pure conjecture. I think in her mind, she was like, oh, when I was 13, this is the type of boyfriend I wish I had. And instead of being like a normal person and seeing that your daughter has this like nice looking boy who seems kind and good, um, she's like, oh, I want that. Yeah, I think that she was more obsessed with Owen, and her daughter was kind of a like collateral damage.
A hell of a collateral damage because I don't know why you would put your daughter in that situation. By the way, I think like Lauren reminded me of Dakota Fanning. I don't know if you see it
Sure,
or not.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just that poor child. I mean, because at the end of it, it's like, well, Owen, if someone does something to you and they're not your mother, it makes a difference.
Hmm.
To be both a victim of what happened and to have it come from your own mother, I think is worse than the situation that Owen is in, is where he is a victim
Hmm.
of a pedophile, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't his mother.
It seemed like I'm actually grateful that they solved this because it seemed like they were not going to be able to do anything about this. Because in the beginning, when they were questioning the kids and then doing surveillance to see who was texting while the messages were coming in, I'm like, this seems impossible. Everyone is on their phone all the time. You already said that. How is that a solution to try and figure this out? And then somewhere along the line, there was the discussion about access to the cell phone, and the principal is like, well, we can't take their phones from them. I work a lot from my phone, and this can be used as an educational tool. And I'm like, sir, you're a 53-year-old man. It's not quite the same with the kids. So I don't know why it took them so long. Like when they were trying to access it, I thought it would be a simple cyber thing of eventually what happened. Some cyber specialists coming in and just tracking IPs and tracking cell towers. Why did it seem like it was an impossible thing to do and it wasn't first choice?
I mean, this town, just to give you the idea of the size of the town, K through 12 is in one building and there are about 50 students per grade. It's not a big school, it's not a big town. I don't know. I'm assuming their police force does is not full of resources. I mean, I don't there was a lot of questions about why didn't they take the phones away from the kids?
Yeah.
Um I feel like the cut article actually did a good job of being like, we do not have kids this age. We It has been 20 years since we were in high school or longer. I, they don't use the phones the same way. Like we think, oh, you're just like talking and texting and getting on social media that you probably shouldn't be on at that age. Like they're like, if you're in the band uses an app. I used to be in the color guard, so I used to march with the marching band. We used to get little pieces of paper to tell us what our choreography was and where we're supposed to be on the field. Now they do that on their phones. It's a basic part of an extracurricular activity. The solution just can't be let's take away the phones. Uh Change the numbers. I don't know why they didn't do that. Their justification was, well, if we change the numbers then the person won't be able. If you change the numbers and they still have the number, that's a clue.
Yeah.
Who'd you give the number to?
It was annoying though because there was a scene where Owen's mom Jill was crying and asking about tracking. Can they do anything? And the cop just keeps saying, "Well, can you get him a new phone? Can you get him a new phone? Have you seen how much phones cost?"
But you don't have to get him a new phone. Change the number.
Eh,
How much does it cost to change the number? I don't think it costs anything.
I don't know. It seemed like a lost cause. But I mean the messages started changing from being trashy and suddenly started being about suicide, especially when Owen and Lauren eventually broke up because what they thought was like the whoever it was wanted them to break up, and when they eventually did break up, things just got worse. And then it became about suicide and then kill yourself and get off, and the cops didn't get involved guys until 15 months in, which I think is 15 months too long.
But that was once again on the parents. Why didn't you guys go to the police? I'm trying. It wasn't that long ago either. Like this happened after the pandemic. So like
During the
2021,
pandemic. Yeah. It was
2020.
2020 during the pandemic. By the fall, I think the tech started.
Yeah, it's just very odd that I'm like, do we not understand that if your child is being cyber stalked and the person is giving signs that they know things about your child, what she's wearing, what he's wearing, where
Yeah.
like clearly they're not there's someone who's in your physical presence and you still don't think this is a crime?
Yeah, especially since they were minors. So in my case, just for a quick summary, I was just getting like at least 50, 60 calls. At the worst, I got like 100 and something back to back every day. Had to turn off my phone. And I eventually went to the cops, but they said they couldn't do anything. There was nothing they could do, that they were not breaking any law and stuff because I tried to file a police report and they were like, well, they don't know, what state they're in and what laws and all that kind of stuff. But in their case, because they're minors, I'm thinking like they had a case that they could stand on. But mentally, I can't imagine what that does because I know how I felt knowing that I didn't know. I had an idea who it was, but I didn't know what they looked like physically. And just wondering, but they knew things about me. And they would tell me things about me, say things about my physical features. And it wasn't even just like a phone. It was like, copy my email address and at the time my Facebook profile and copy all the people. You just feel so vulnerable that I'm trying to imagine how they felt as young as they were every day. Like, how could she get up every day and want to go to school? I mean, I know it's Lauren and Owen, but I don't know why I'm fixated on Lauren. I think probably because it was her mom. But Owen is just as much a victim in this.
Yes.
And it's just a sense of feeling unsafe, I guess, all around every day for almost 2 years. And the fact that her mom is the one who did it, her mom is the one who saw her every day, saw her getting sad, saw her just not knowing what to do. I don't understand when I watch these documentaries and people are free. This is the thing that I would never understand. Why is this woman not like institutionalized, I guess, at the very least?
There's a lot. So, people were making fun of the principal because he ascribed a possible motive as Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah.
And people were like, that's crazy. And I'm like, no, that
No,
kind
it's
of
not.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of Munchausen is you get to be the center of attention. You get lots of medical professionals, rubbing your back and saying how brave and strong you are to deal with this difficult child and their illness. It's a form of getting attention. And if you keep your child in crisis for 2 years, lots of people will sympathize with you. Like in the Cut article, they talk about how Kendra really liked
Attention.
telling people about the messages. Oh, we just got another one. Lauren's so upset. Lauren, show them the message. And even Lauren would be like, I don't really want, show them the message. Because,
Mm.
yeah, you get a lot of attention. A lot of attention. I think there were multiple things going on here.
I, when they were interviewing the kids at different points in time, I just kept wondering, how are they able to do that without interviewing, without a parent present? Is that even legal?
I mean, you mean the cops interviewing or the.
Yeah, I think the sheriff, when he was interviewing like the kids, like at some point he interviewed Chloe, then he interviewed Lauren and Macy, but I don't think I saw a parent present.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about that.
And I was like, is that legal?
That
Does
is
that even count
definitely not legal. No, no.
for anything? I will say though, what I do appreciate that we have body cam point of view for everything and every step, because it's a completely different story when we can see what happened. So when they go in and the match comes back and it's with Kendra, when they go confront her in the house, I don't know, was it a party? Because there was a shit ton of alcohol on the dining table.
That's what everybody noticed. So, sorry I keep on referring to the Cut article, but it was good.
It was
So
long, Aid sent it to me, guys. I tried, I read some of it, but I quit at some point.
meanwhile, I'm like, I love long form journalism, which is true. I do. I love long form journalism. Plus I read fast, so. But in the article, they kind of outline a little bit more because there was more going on here than just these messages. There was also the financial difficulties
Mm-hmm.
that Kendra and her husband Sean were going through. And the
Mm-hmm.
financial difficulties yeah, were quite extensive. And one of the things, because he said something about we moved 4 times, which was
Yeah.
actually before we found out that Kendra was the texter. And I remember being like, what is this moving 4 times to like get away from the stalker? Come to find out, it's actually yet another kind of double life she was living where she was responsible for paying bills. They would get evicted, they would get foreclosed on. She would make up lies about why they were moving. Oh, we had to have our foundation repaired when really they had to move that out of that house because it was being foreclosed on. The house that they ended up moving into where the body cam is not their house. I think it's his parents' house cuz he's from there.
Mm.
Yeah. But I, she looked like she could have a drinking problem.
Conversations about GLP-1 are all the rage these days, and it almost always centers around weight loss. It's been eye-opening to realize that there are way more benefits that go beyond the scale, like better lab numbers, more energy, and new levels of confidence. One of the scary parts about using a GLP-1 for most people are the self-administered shots, because they can be intimidating. But guess what? Ro now offers the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest cost around. That's one daily pill for fewer cravings and feeling fuller with an innovative new formula clinically proven to maximize weight loss. All this and more is why I'd go with Ro if I ever wanted to start a GLP-1 journey. Go to ro.co/alter to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on Ro. That's ro.co/altar to get started on Ro. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warnings and full safety information about GLP-1 medication.
Just thought it was 4th of July or something. I didn't know what was happening. And to give more credence to the Munchausen by proxy or cyber, I don't know what it was. Immediately she's being told about it, like, stop lying. We already know. We know. She suddenly is so concerned about her daughter. She's now trying to hug, Lauren, and trying to say, like, how will she go to school? I don't want this to be public. Like, I want to keep this contained. I'm like, you did not think about that the whole time you were harassing her?
That was actually the worst part of the documentary.
I
Because
just,
Lauren's not hugging her back.
Lauren's
She's
also not pushing her away. I'm in shock.
Lauren is
But
15 years old.
yeah,
Like, not maybe 14, 15. I don't know what I'm not judging Lauren for any reaction she may or may not have had. I don't know what you're supposed to do. And like, this is your mother who has supported you and pretended like she is so not even pretending, probably actually is, even as she's creating the hurt, she really, really wants you to feel better and provide comfort. And then she was just using her child like an emotional support blanket in that moment.
yeah. So that's really, to me, that supports the whatever I think was the principal who said it, that she just wanted her to need her. And Sean comes by, and do you believe? No, we're not going to believe anything that Kendra says, because Kendra says that Sean knows more than he's admitting to, but he seemed also blindsided by the fact that she had not been working for a year. She was supposed to have two jobs, but she did not have either of them. She was faking her work calls. I read that far in the article. And he had no idea. He thought that she just quit, but she was let go because she was on a performance plan. And
So
because, oh, go ahead.
it's okay. So the way that they show it on the show is not so there had been, before they came and did the search warrant to get the phones, it had been about a month of people kind of whispering, we think it might be Kendra.
Yeah.
Like Chloe's dad, though, and
Yeah.
mom,
Mhm.
they are both assholes. Victims in this case, but still assholes.
Wait, why
He,
do you say that?
their child is, well, I don't want to speak ill of a minor child, although I think she's 18 now. I, I didn't care for some of their commentary. I do think their daughter was probably a bully.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
I have it on my notes. I was gonna ask, like, how do you feel? Because even Owen was like, I mean, she wasn't a bully, but she really wasn't the nicest. And I think that was just his nice way of saying, like, okay, she was a mean girl.
she was not nice. The part where they try to act like Lauren and Sean aren't victims, and they directly say they're gonna act like victims, like, and they think they're so funny. And what I'm like, no, they are you really talking about a child this way?
Yeah,
Forget Sean. You really are talking about Lauren this way?
yeah.
Oh, so yes, the rumors had been swirling that Kendra was probably the one before they served the search warrant. So neither Sean nor Lauren was probably, like, they were probably shocked to have it confirmed. But even the way the sheriff was talking, he was very indirect. I felt like they spent way more time talking about her job and her lack of job than they did the messages.
And this is probably my number one biggest gripe of this documentary. I don't think they came hard enough on Kendra for my
No.
liking. Like, what is this? She didn't just come and swipe $100 off the countertop. Like, do we understand the magnitude of what she did? I don't think the producers probed enough. I don't think her sentence was long enough. I don't think everyone is mad enough at her. Like, this woman should be ashamed to be on TV smiling at us and telling us that everyone has made a mistake. What?
I mean, I don't want to say enjoyed, but to me, we all watch her say that what she did is like is like driving drunk,
Drunk.
which also minimizes driving drunk because
Yeah.
you can kill people.
Yeah.
Karen Huger, anybody out of prison?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but if someone says, "Oh, it's just like driving drunk," and you have just seen those messages, you understand that you're not dealing with a reliable narrator or a person who has dealt with what they have done. You're dealing with a person who is still not taking accountability for what they have done.
I just can't believe that we were interviewing this woman normally all this while and she was participating like she was the culprit. I just, it was a little, I don't know what the adjective is. And I get it, and I appreciate that directing style because it's for the shock value, but it's just even for her. I don't think she feels bad
Oh no.
about what she did.
She's still obsessed with her daughter. Like the messages that she sent her when she was in prison were very disturbing to me.
Very, very. I forgive you, girl.
Forgive you for what? Ah. And then okay, so this was another big issue that the documentary I read an article. So they interviewed Lauren. The first time they interviewed her was when her mom was in prison and they were messaging back and forth. Then a year and a half later, they interview Lauren again. And the first time they interview her, she talks about reestablishing a relationship with her mom. The second time they interview, she talks about how, well, a lot of things have to happen before we can reestablish a relationship. But then they go back to the year and a half ago when she said something different. So they kind of didn't show that Lauren is clearly going on a journey. She Girl should take all the time that she needs, no rush from any of us, to figure out what exactly it is she wants with her mom. Like we want to get to the natural conclusion is that you should never talk to that woman again.
Yeah.
But she is at this point still a child. Like she will eventually figure it out and she needs the space and the time to do so. But the documentary made it seem like, "Oh, I just want a relationship with my mom." Like
Mm-hmm.
she said that, but she had some growth that they didn't really fully show.
Okay. Yeah, because that is what when they find out everything with the body cam and Sean is like, go stay with your parents, and she kept wanting to hug Lauren and saying, I can't leave her by herself. That moment, I think I wrote down, I don't care what happens. I think Lauren is fucked for life.
Yes.
Like, there's just absolutely not all trauma you can heal from. You can learn to cope with it and move on with it, but this is a lot to process. And me not knowing what you just said now and listening to her say, I still love my mom. I still want my mom. I feel like a part of me is missing. And I'm like, this woman is the word groomed in a
Mm.
way that she now feel that's why she was so confident, because there was a part where they asked her, how do you know what if she was going to hurt herself? And Kendra is like, this is going to sound weird, but I know her, we have conversations, I know that she's not going to do that. So I feel like she set herself up for whatever it is that she's doing, and she felt like she knew her daughter well enough.
No, no, no. I don't think
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I think that she would have reveled in the attention if her daughter had killed herself.
Oh god.
I think this woman is really, really dark and disturbed. Really, really dark and disturbed.
This is where I worry for our justice system. Like I said, why is she not institutionalized?
Institutionalized or just charged appropriate. I didn't even understand like I guess I don't really understand pedophilia laws cuz it's like okay, well there was no physical contact.
Yeah,
There's no pictures or images and that's usually what people usually go to jail for when it comes to being a pedophile. But
yeah.
sending sexually explicit text messages to
Text
two minor
messages.
children doesn't count?
Yeah. And I think it's because, when they set the laws, they're assuming everyone is normal and not going to do these things. But as these things arise, we need to make provisions for them. That's my guess. I don't know if that's been done before. Is there anything in the law about sending lewd text messages to minors?
I think the fact that there are no pictures is like a
That's
real
crazy.
issue. I mean, I am no legal scholar. This is just
Yeah.
me guessing. I
No,
want
but
to be
that's what I'm
really clear
saying.
about that, but that's my assumption is that even though we are looking at it and we are like this is very 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 bad, the law hasn't quite caught up, especially to the free speech parts of it.
Yeah, but they need to amend it because there are things that didn't exist anymore. Like, imagine if, I don't know, I'm just pulling something out my ass. Someone opens an OnlyFans account that is very sexual, highly sexual, with a minor's information or something like that. Back in the day, there was nothing like OnlyFans, so there's no provisions for it. But we have to make provisions as the world evolves.
Images. I think that's where the law I think is still stuck on images and physical contact. Words? text messages, I don't know.
I just this is so shocking to me. I'm not a person of few words, but this is a few words for me. But I mean, at this point, I don't think there's anything Kendra could say that would make sense as to why she did what she did. And I was really looking forward to seeing her point of view, but I was let down. Nothing she said was even close. Like I said, she didn't seem remorseful. She was talking about how we have all broken the law and made mistakes and we're losing sight of that. And some people will say she's the villain, but it's because we don't know the whole story. And I'm like, do I need to know your whole story to know why you would do this to your daughter?
Um, but I see, I'm like, but I can come to my own conclusions without her. I think the Munchausen by proxy is a big one. I think, like, there's so many different ways in which this craziness actually benefits her. Like, you have your daughter leaning on you for emotional support at a time when
Hmm.
usually teenage girls are getting the hell away from their mothers.
Yeah.
You have your crush on your daughter's boyfriend and a way to fantasize about him being yours. It's disgusting, but I will say it. She is a pedophile. You have attention from the community. Um, Not only attention from the community, but sorry to go back to that cut article, but they talked about how Beale City is this like very small town.
Yeah.
Um, Owen's parents, both of them grew up in the small town.
Hmm.
Sean, her husband, grew up in this town. She did not grow up there. And so she wanted to ingratiate herself with people in town because she's technically an outsider. And she gets to have an excuse now to keep on interacting with Owen's mom, even after the kids break up. I also found it very interesting that there was the whole thing about Owen was seeing a girl in Pinconning.
Yeah.
Um, and she managed to find the girl's mother's phone number to send some harassing text messages that way, which once again is indicative to me about how it's kind of about her daughter, but really it's about Owen.
It's about Owen, yeah. Because I think in the article they mentioned how Owen's mom was saying like even after they broke up, she kept inquiring about Owen's dating life, which is just weird. Uh
Oh, this poor
the
child.
I think the other lie that she kept perpetuating is that she kept saying that she did not send those texts at Halloween, but I don't believe that.
I feel like she
She's
lied about it once, so she just kept on lying about it.
yeah,
Girl, you
and she
sent all
kept
of them.
going.
You sent all of them.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, why would you pick up afterwards? And she was like, I just kind of did it to find the culprits. That doesn't make any sense at all. Um, do you think her dad is completely clean?
Um, Clean about the text messages, yes. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't think she was lying about so many things. Oddly, the finances thing is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
I am very loosely acquainted with someone whose husband was not paying the mortgage for a couple years and she had no idea. She had no idea her house was in foreclosure.
Mm.
Um, so I believe that you could hide all I'm single. I don't understand how married people do these things. Um I don't understand how you cannot know what's going on with your own finances because you've just kind of handed it over to a spouse. I think what ends up happening is people know that there's not enough money, and instead of accepting that there's not enough money, they hand it to their spouse to figure out how to make like dollars out of dimes. And then that way they're hands off. And then when it all goes to shit, they're like, but I didn't know. And I'm like, okay, but it's your responsibility to know if your mortgage is getting paid. Like, it's your responsibility to know like what the balance of your bank account is before you go to the store.
Yeah.
I do feel like Sean, if he didn't know, that's his own fault.
He buried his head in the sand. I mean, not
Correct.
like she's not a reliable narrator, but Kendra was like, he kind of knew what was going on. But I'm like, I can't believe anything you say.
I have to do the flip
At
side
this
of
point.
it though, which is
Yeah.
that there is a thing called financial abuse where your spouse will not tell you about the finances. And maybe that's what's going on with Kendra and Sean. But I want to throw that out there because that could be it too. If especially because
She
apparently for
handles the
most of their
finances.
marriage, she made more money. He was a
Yeah.
mechanic and she was in IT and she always just seemed to make more money. So I definitely see a situation where she's like, well, you don't make the money anyway, so you don't get to decide how it's spent. So you just need to hand your paycheck over to me and I'll figure it out. And that's how we end up with moving four times because you're getting evicted and foreclosed on and you don't know anything about your finances.
Yeah. I just wondered the dynamics of the family because as of right now, right, Lauren does not have contact with Kendra,
Nope.
and Sean clearly has nothing to do with Kendra, and she loves her dad and she loves her mom, but of course it's going to be complicated if she does decide that she wants to move forward with her mom. How does that work?
I don't know. I will say Chloe, I said Chloe. Chloe, Owen, and Lauren all graduated from high school this year.
Yay.
And hopefully all three of them are headed. Chloe is actually going to school, I think, on an athletic scholarship of some kind.
Yeah, volleyball.
I just like I want this girl to go to college. It's unfortunate that that they'll know her story because there's a Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Any hope she kind of had of getting away from it, this documentary probably killed. And one day, I guess you can talk to your mom, but I really like my greatest wish for her is that
What's
by
the
the time
point?
she's 25, she never speaks to her mother again.
Yeah. I did think it was kind of sad that she and Owen just don't speak. They're not equipped. They were not equipped to handle this much anything. Like, technically, there's nothing for them to be mad about, but it's also so much that happened that what is there to talk about, anyways?
I
But it was
I
just
j-
sad.
I just feel so I feel like part of the reason why Owen is upset with and not talking to Lauren is because I don't think she ever will like completely condemn her mother.
Yeah.
But I totally understand that. Like I mean, I feel like this is extreme. My mother could commit murder. She's still good. She's still your mother. Any type of a teenager? No, any type of break that's going to happen is just going to take some time, some reflection, hopefully a whole lot of therapy with someone equipped to help you. I don't think she was defending her mom, but I think that she couldn't condemn her in the way that Owen probably wanted, and that's why he can't talk to her. And I think that that's probably healthiest for both of them.
Yeah. I did have that question. Is Lauren in therapy? No one talked about that.
I don't know.
Because if she's not, she should be. It is a lot to unpack
I
in
don't
that.
understand why her father did not move her out of town.
She
I
probably
don't know
said she
why
wanted to
she's
stay.
forced to stay in that school. I thought it was sweet in the article. They talked about how she and Macy still eat lunch together every day. They just don't talk about this. Um, but I
Wait,
just
didn't they say? Oh no, she only finished her junior year or sophomore year homeschooled
online.
online.
She left
Okay.
school. But I just don't understand. Sean should have taken her elsewhere. She needed a fresh start. That she did not need to be in that cesspool of a town.
I think he probably had like a small town mentality. Like, this is where I know. This is where I found work. I'm not gonna go somewhere else. And he was just gonna stay put. I find that sometimes it's either there's only two choices. It's either you want to get away from a small town, or it's what you know and you don't want to get away and you want to stay where you're comfortable.
I'm like, is there another small town that's like an hour or two away? So your daughter doesn't have to continue to go to school with the people that her mother victimized? Who knows? Maybe she wanted to stay because it was what was familiar.
Yeah,
And I
that's
hope that there
actually what
were
I think.
kind adults and maybe some kids who were kind to her. I don't
And
know.
I think that's what I would like to have known. I don't know if there's a way to let us know in the documentary is how people receive or treat Lauren, knowing that she wasn't part of it. But to your point, your guess about Owen, not her not condemning her mom, how do people feel about that? And how does that translate into how they treat her?
I mean, I my opinion is that no one has she was a this is the part. Like she is a victim. She's a victim. I don't think that we have a place to really judge victims or how they react to being a victim.
Hmm.
A double over victim.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
But
the fine. Oh, go ahead.
I do like I this is probably the thing that I see online that bothers me the most is people trying to act like Lauren knew or had something to do with it. They're like the police are like, we checked. It all came from
No.
Kendra's phone. Like this poor I just even with this documentary, I just feel like this poor child just gets victimized over and over and over again.
No, I don't think she knew. I do think I had to keep reminding myself that she was 14 because I just couldn't understand why she didn't want nothing to do with her mother. That was my only thing. But she's young, you know? So, I mean, I think the conclusion of this documentary is the audacity of Kendra. Oh no, not it wasn't Kendra, I'm sorry. But I think because of everything that happened, Lauren is planning to attend college to study criminology. So,
Maybe she can tell the police how they can better charge her mom for what she did.
one can only hope. But yeah. I think ultimately this is my issue with them churning out all these documentaries is that the subject matter is fascinating, the stories are fascinating, but I don't think ultimately the production is always the best and there's always all these gaps that are left. I do also appreciate the fact that it wasn't done in 3 episodes. They decided they were just gonna make it a 1 hour 30 thing and let's just get it one and done in this.
It could have been an hour. Like I literally had to stop and be like, when did they tell us that it was Kendra? Cuz for like 45 minutes
Yeah.
it's just relaying the same thing. Text
Yeah.
messages. They didn't do any investigating. They didn't change anybody's number. I mean, they did investigating, but they're like, Chloe did it. That was the extent of their investigating. Like it wasn't very riveting. At the end of the day, it's like there were some really, really bad text messages sent to kids. Oh, it turned out to be one of the kids' mother. It's not even worth an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's a 1 hour Dateline episode.
Honestly, Kendra's excuse being like she was raped at 17 and she just got scared as Lauren was getting to those years. I mean, she was still 14, but it's like you realize that you just perpetuated the fears that you allegedly were scared of by just getting her there quicker. This is insane.
I
So
just
crazy.
maybe this contradicts my whole like victim thing, but I do not doubt that what she's saying is true, but
Hmm.
uh, uh, being a victim doesn't give you the right to victimize others, and it's not an excuse either.
Well, what do you remember what people always say? Hurt people, or something like that.
Okay, that doesn't
So
make them that doesn't negate the hurt.
if she wanted to do something, homeschool the girl. Tell her she can't go anywhere. Tell her she can't have a phone. I think that's safer than whatever this other thing was. She kept saying she was going through a lot. I'm like, again, go through whatever you're going through. Your daughter did not have to be collateral damage on all of this. So,
And like while she was sending the text messages supposedly to break them up, she was simultaneously far too invested in their relationship. Like
hmm
according to his mother, she's like she acted like the kids were going to be together forever. And his mom had enough sense of mind to be like, they're, very young teenagers. Like this
yeah,
is a cute little relationship, but it, she was disturbed by Kendra's investment. So, oh, she was dating someone and I got scared that the same thing that happened to her at 17. Like I'm not really buying that. I'm not
no,
buying that.
no, it's not making sense. It's just she was also smiling. It was just creepy. It's just I'm just bothered by the fact that this woman is free. I think is my main concern. But I'm glad that they had a good enough sense to make sure that she doesn't have contact with Lauren, at least for
Yeah.
now. So, okay. Any last words?
None.
All right. That was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you can make any sense of Kendra, let me know what your thoughts are because I have none. This was just ridiculous and should never have even happened. But thanks, Aid, for stopping by. It's always a pleasure when you do.
No problem. I started to think as we got started, I'm like, oh, I just get introduced as Aid and like, oh, everybody just knows who Aid is. I'm like, what if you have new listeners who are like, I don't know who this girl is?
I think well, you just be a guest. But what she's trying to say, guys, if I have any new listeners that are listening, Aid was my co-host for a long time before she. Oh, it's coming up on a year now
Yeah.
since you left. But yeah, that's who Aid is. She's my ex.
A whole year of Tane doing a great job of doing this podcast solo and me having fun just dropping in to share thoughts. Best of both worlds.
Yes, yes, it is. Thanks, Aid. I appreciate it.
No
All right,
problem.
guys. Until next time, stay tuned for other episodes. Bye.